Okay. Okay, so we're recording.
So first of all, I've never told anybody about this. Nobody. You're the first person I'm actually talking to about this.
Oh
So
my
I'm gonna
God.
name it. I've never told anybody about this. Never told anybody about this.
Wow. So Cuckquean Fantasies.
Cuckquean Fantasies. So when I would masturbate, not only would I imagine, fantasies of my partners with other people to get off, but
Mm-hmm.
they would be situations that if they had actually happened in real life, they would make me upset.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
the details of the things that I was imagining were
Mm-hmm.
things that if they happened in real life,
Mm-hmm.
I would be upset that they occurred. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just them being with somebody else and me thinking about them being somebody else, but the details that I would create
Mm-hmm.
around the fantasy
Uh-huh.
was,
Uh-huh.
and that was specific. I needed those details for the turn on and for the eroticism of it. I needed those details.
Ooh, what kind of details?
Like, hmm. Ooh. So it would sometimes be my partners being with people that it would be really hard for me to be with in real life. Like friends, certain friends of mine,
Mm-hmm.
like certain people that I had like challenge with them dating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of it would be the circumstances, like maybe they weren't using protection with the person, like just stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It would be these like details. Yeah, I know it froze a little bit. Let me see if I disconnect the Wi-Fi if that's helpful. So hang on a second. I'm just disconnect
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi and connect to. Let me see if that helps. Okay. But yeah, but it would be certain details that I would add to it, layers or maybe like maybe some of the like I would imagine like a depth or a passion in the experience that I know that if I actually saw it in real life, it would
Mm-hmm.
be really hard for me to view. And so
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just them being with somebody else. It would
Mm-hmm.
be these different details about them being with the person that I needed in those spaces in order for me to like, and that was part of the arousal.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
was like the charge of the idea, you know?
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like maybe it was not just about jealousy, but other like difficult emotions that were maybe too hard to like process in real time, in real life, in like a real 3D circumstance. But like, what is it that was like, what were those challenging emotions, I guess, that were being eroticized?
Maybe them having like a depth of passion that like scared me in
Mm,
real life to think about them having with somebody else. Some
mm-hmm,
of it was about, like I said, that like the disregard, maybe for me, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff, there, some of it was about maybe them. Maybe what's coming from. I haven't really sat with this. I just get my nut and go home. Like what I mean?
uh-huh.
Like, not, I never, I never really dove into it too deeply, you know.
Uh-huh.
But if I sit and I think about it, something about like sinking into that level of like desire that just didn't care about anything else other than I just really want this. There's something about that specifically, and like the idea of seeing my partner in that space
Mm,
that was like there was a strange point of arousal for me in
mm-hmm,
the ether world that like if it happened in the real world I'd be crashing the hell out, but
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in that space, that idea of like seeing my partner in like that depth of just pure wantonness.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that is kind of like erotic compersion for you to tune into their desire vicariously? Like, is it kind of like you project yourself into them in your fantasy?
What's coming forward for me is, Jesus Christ. So what's coming forward for me is I tend to date robots.
Oh,
Is
oh,
what I call it. I date robots.
uh-huh. Okay.
I date people who are very emotionally cut off
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and reserved and not very emotionally expressive. And I
Uh-huh.
think what the turn on was for me, and one of the things that I imagine is this is just something that they're doing with me, that they're capable of this depth of expression and desire and want, that they're capable of doing, that they just don't do it with me.
Mm.
And because it's somewhere that some place that I want people to meet me in, because I sink all the way into desire. Okay, I get
Mm-hmm.
down in that shit. I'm
Yeah,
a
you're
very
not a robot.
expressive emotionally person.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And so there's something like erotic for me about seeing them in that place,
Mm-hmm.
like even when it's not with me.
Yeah. But then your fantasy is not them doing it with you. It's them doing it with someone else.
Right? Because I have this imagination that maybe that someone else maybe can bring this out of them, and because I so desperately want to see that side of them,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I create these scenarios where I'm able to see that in them.
Yeah. Yeah. And in your fantasy, is there
It's
also
that.
pain? Like when you
Is there also
imagine
what?
pain, like emotional pain?
Is it pain for me?
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay.
Like there's a recognition that this would cause me pain in real life, and
Mm-hmm.
something about that is a turn on. Like I said, I would create situations that they would specifically. So in the moment, there's no pain, but
Mm-hmm.
the situation it would have to be one that would cause me pain. Like it wasn't just like I said, it wasn't just them with somebody else. Like sometimes I would imagine them like with fuck buddies and stuff. I've developed the ability to imagine like my current love with other people. And for me, in those imagining, that's just because I just think he's super hot. Like. And so it was like sexy, to think about him with other people because he's just so damn fine. And her
Mm-hmm.
is just like,
Mm-hmm.
he's just so damn fine.
Yeah.
And also, he sometimes I don't get the opportunity to see him with men. And he's
Mm-hmm.
trans masculine. So
Yeah.
most of my imaginings with him would be imagining him with men. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
have seen him in real life with men because we slept with men together before.
Mm-hmm.
But it would always be him with another man, and it was just sexy to me.
Yeah.
So, and that one wasn't connected to like stuff that would make me upset. It would just be, I just think he's really hot. And, he would tell me sometimes about his hookups and stuff. And so the idea of him sleeping with a man and stuff is real sexy to me because I just think he's super sexy.
Mm-hmm.
But with my other partners, my ex-husband, for sure, my partner
Mm-hmm.
Marquise, I would actually imagine situations, like I said, that I knew, like if they happened in real life, they would cause me pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
was, I needed that layer, that element. Because to me, what's coming forward for me as I really sit and maybe try to articulate this is maybe the fact that they were choosing to do something that they knew would be so deeply painful for me, or something that would be a challenge. Like that was an indicator of how much in their desire they were, that they just didn't care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like yeah, like they were so oblivious. Like they were just
Not
total.
even just oblivious, it was like a choice. It was like, I know this would be challenging for this person, but I want this so bad that I
Uh-huh.
don't care,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's how much my desire is online in this moment.
Uh-huh. 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 So t tuning into that vicariously is super hot.
Yeah, like tuning into them letting themselves go that far in desire
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that they just, they threw off all restraint.
Yeah.
Like watching them in a space of unrestrained desire.
Mm-hmm. 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 And
Yeah.
the way you're describing it, like it sounds more like erotic compersion than erotic jealousy. Although, I'm trying to conceptualize like what's the relationship between those two? I know they're distinct.
Mm.
Like I've talked to many people who say like, if I don't feel the pain of jealousy, like it's not as hot, it's not as edgy, like there's something about the actual jealousy for me that is hot and arousing. And erotic compersion is more of like that kind of sweet, like, oh, I'm witnessing
But I
them having
wasn't
fun with
feeling
someone else.
compersion either.
What's that?
I feel like it was maybe like it wasn't compersion either. It was maybe wanting to experience their unrestrained desire, even
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't directed at me.
Uh-huh.
And so I do think there was an element of needing, I needed a situation that I know would bring jealousy or that would bring jealousy in the real world because it was like I wanted to experience their unrestrained desire, like even if it wasn't with me. So it had to be because I could have just imagined them being in their desire with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But it needed to be a situation that I would be insanely jealous about. It
Mm-hmm.
had to be that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It had to be that.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Cool. So it's not your jealousy that turns you on, it's that plugging into them and their
I
desire.
think the jealousy did kind of turn me on a little bit because it was almost I'm so emotionally charged by this thing, but I can't look away
Yeah.
because of how hot it is seeing them so deeply in a space of just because jealousy is a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy to me is a passion emotion, like jealousy, anger, those are passion emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was something about the needing the adding of the jealousy because it was about passion and experiencing passion. And jealousy is one of the most passionate emotions you can experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I needed the jealousy because of because of the passion of jealousy. Because what
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to connect to was a depth of passion in my
Mm,
partner.
mm. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So do you think that jealousy, I mean, that erotic jealousy in this case and erotic compersion are totally distinct, or do you see them as connected or overlapping in your fantasy?
Um, there was no compersion present. I was not happy for them.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was
So,
not happy for them. I was just turned on. But I
yeah.
wasn't happy for them. I wasn't like I was looking at this and there was no like, oh, look at them. It wasn't that. There was none of that. I wasn't
Uh-huh.
that wasn't there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So that's why I'm like, no, it wasn't because erotic compersion to me is, which I do experience a little bit.
mm-hmm,
Where I experience erotic compersion is when my partners tell me, and even that's contextual. I experience it a lot more in my current, situation with my love mostly around when he would get an opportunity to have experiences that he wanted to have and just hadn't had. So like I remember
mm-hmm,
the first time he got an opportunity to peg someone
mm-hmm,
and he when he told me he was like, oh, I got to, and I felt compulsive because I was like, oh shoot, because I know this is the thing that he's wanted.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like that's where I feel a lot of compersion when my partners get to have sexual experiences that they've been wanting to have, and then they get a chance to realize them. That's where I experience erotic compersion. Just regular, or sometimes if I know that they're having like a hard time in
Uh-huh.
life, maybe things have been tough, things have been challenging, and then they hook up with somebody, or they have a really good session, and they're like, yeah, I had, yeah, it was really good, I needed it, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, because I'm a slut. So I know the power of just a good night of sex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in those moments, I would feel compersion. But
Yeah.
these particular circumstances, there was not compersion. I wasn't happy that I wasn't. I didn't have any joy. That my partner was interacting with this person in a way, like I didn't feel compersion. There was no compersion there.
Uh-huh.
It was like it was almost like it did feel kind of kinky because it was almost like a taboo.
Uh-huh.
It was the taboo-ness of them disregarding me.
Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
There was like a kink and then disregarding me
Yeah.
to do just what they wanted.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because in those circumstances, like I said, I didn't just choose different people, but the people in the circumstances were people that like they maintain their same roles, in that they have in my actual 3D lived reality. And, if I reflect back on those situations, like there was an understanding in the fantasy that this thing that my partner was doing with this other person, would be a big deal. So it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like I just had a hot friend, my partner is hot, and so I'm just imagining my partner with my hot friend. No, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is my good friend. And in
Mm-hmm.
this scenario, my partner knows that this thing that they're doing with this person is something that's going to cause me pain. Like that was an element that was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was an erotic compersion because there
Mm-hmm.
was no joy about the fact that they were doing it. The charge was that it was something that felt taboo, something that felt, like I said, like a disregard of me, and like, something that would make me insanely jealous if it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was where the charge was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So did it feel like writing a line between pleasure and pain for you?
Yeah. So I always say this, I'm an emotional masochist.
Oh yeah.
I don't like physical pain,
Uh-huh.
but I'm an emotional masochist. I like my
Ooh.
I like my pain in the emotion space.
Oh my gosh. How so? How does that show up?
Probably in the choices of people I pick. If I'm keeping it all the way
Oh
through.
my gosh. Yeah.
Dating robots, knowing damn well my
Oh,
ass is emotional as hell and ain't got no business with a robot.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Some of it is in the ways I probably like. I think some of my I made a post recently about learning how to not ask for information too much, kind of whatever. And I think
Mm.
some of that was a way of self torture, causing myself emotional pain, is
Yeah.
asking questions, digging in, trying to find stuff out. So some of
Mm-hmm.
that, I think it shows up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe some of it shows up in how when I experience something painful, how deep I sink into it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they feel emotional pain, they run.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get down in that shit. I'm listening to heartbreaking music and watching sad movies. And, I get deep, deep down in that shit when it happens. I'm going through
Uh-huh.
something like that now.
Oh.
And man, I be listening to my break playlist. I get
Uh,
deep, deep down in that shit.
mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
consider myself, and I know there's a book called Essential Kink. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to look up the topic of emotional masochism when your kink is in the emotional space.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
we think of pain, when we think of most of the pain that we're talking about with kink is sensation.
Yeah.
But that's not the only way to experience pain.
Mm-mm. No.
People have mental anguish. People have
Mm-hmm.
emotional anguish. People have spiritual anguish.
Mm-hmm.
The physical is not the only way that you can experience pain. I
Mm-mm.
don't like physical pain at all.
Yeah.
I like physical discomfort. So I'll engage in stuff kink wise that make me uncomfortable, but I don't like pain. Once it hits
Uh-huh.
the pain, I'm like, we done, pull out, scene over, red. Scene is done. This hurts. But emotionally,
Mhm.
I can stand a lot of pain.
And not only stand it, but enjoy it, apparently.
That did something to me somatically. Yeah,
Yeah?
kind of like it.
Uh-huh.
I kind of like it. I do. Ooh, I have never talked to anyone about this.
Oh
No
my God.
one.
What? That's so
So you
cool.
are getting an exclusive, honey. You're getting an exclusive. Okay. I've never talked to anyone. I like emotional pain. I do. I
Oh
love
my,
it, actually.
wow. What is it about it that
Yeah.
you like? What is it about it that's erotic or good?
It's another way to experience passion. I'm a very passionate person.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a passion of emotional pain,
Mm-hmm.
the wailing, the you know what I mean? The being bereft, the, it's so dramatic and
Mm-hmm.
so gut wrenching and it's so intense. And I love intensity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love intensity.
Uh-huh.
And it's
It's
so intense. And then also, it's such a site of learning.
mm-hmm. How so?
So much comes out of those experiences and moving through those dark nights of the soul and those deep moments and those stormy. So much comes out when you get down into pain in your
Yeah.
emotion space.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like writing down in big letters, like loving pain. Like how freaking like cathartic that is to actually learn to love pain because that is like so much of our human experience. And if you don't love it, if you keep it at arm's length, you're kind of numbing yourself from a huge part of that human potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going through this period of like re-coming to the drawing board with my partner. It's been deeply painful and jarring and just horrible.
Yeah.
But Marie, if I tell you just in the last couple of days, all the stuff that's come forward for me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all the conversations and the revelations and the things that have that have come out for
Mm-hmm.
me, that shit turns me on. And this is my first time even naming that.
Wow.
That shit turns me on.
Uh-huh.
That shit turns me on. That being in that revelation space
Uh-huh.
that comes through pain specifically, emotional pain specifically.
Yeah.
Some of that turns me on.
Mm. Do you get off on the pain of others as well, or just your own?
Mm-mm. Nope. Mine.
Just yours, yeah.
Just latest. So I don't wish to inflict pain on others. But that
Uh-huh.
also lines up with my kink identity.
Which is?
I usually bottom. It's rare that I top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually the sub. It's rare that I'm the dominant. I'm never the one wanting to inflict. I'm wanting the one to be inflicted on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that does line up with my kink identity. Is,
Mm-hmm.
my other people being in emotional pain is not a turn on for me.
Got it.
It's people inflicting emotional pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's like is a turn on to me. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
not that. Yeah, like my pain is like erotic. My emotional pain,
Mm-hmm.
or and even that, because I think we think of erotic and immediately we turn to sex, you know. But
Right.
erotic is, or the what eroticism is like that deep aliveness,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
that real deep aliveness,
Yeah.
that really being aware of like the depth of just the being turned, being fully on.
Wait, I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. What?
I said being fully online, being fully
Yeah.
online, you know?
Yeah. 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 Really plugged in.
Yeah, yeah, really plugged in, fully online. And so
Right.
when I say erotic, it's not like I'm experiencing like a sexual turn on all the time. Like in that space, when I'm talking about these fantasies, I'm at, in that space, it's there. But it's
Mm-hmm.
more about just this having this really, really just, the eroticism of emotional pain is being really, really, really online with aliveness. How alive I am,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how much I can feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, when people do kink in the physical realm, it's how far can I push myself
Mm-hmm.
in the depths of my, how far can I push myself in the depths of my body?
Right.
You
Like,
know,
mm-hmm.
what are the edges that I can push in my
Mm-hmm.
physical ability to experience pain? For me,
Yeah.
that's emotional. I
Right.
think a lot of my work through my jealousy, a lot of my work through polyamory is going, how far can I push my emotional self? How far
Yeah.
can I push my emotional body to feel
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
withstand and to endure?
Uh-huh. 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 And it sounds like there's something in the immediacy of like the pain that you feel very alive on, but also like, do you feel like there's kind of like a reward or a transformative effect?
Hmm. I think I feel like if I can push myself to the limits of the emotional depth of pain,
Mm-hmm.
it's experience of invincibility.
Oh, whoa. Wow. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you feel invincible when you're at that edge of your capacity to withstand and experience pain?
Because so many people, like, emotional pain is like the worst thing in the world for them, and they
Yeah.
crumble, they fold,
Mhm,
it's like that's it,
mhm.
they tap out. If I
Yeah.
can push myself to the very, very edge of emotional pain, it creates a feeling of invincibility,
Yeah.
of imperviousness.
Yeah. Like strength. It's like if you lift weights in the
It's a
gym.
strength.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm trying to be emotional god body, you know
Yeah. Totally. And it's something that, yeah, like you said, like it's so unusual for people to want to do that it feels like it gives you that, like, I mean, in a paradoxical way, like a leg up or just like a space of consciousness that is very unusual to experience in our world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a
Yeah.
superpower, like a superpower.
And
And you
I'd be
know,
curious if the people that do it in their physical space, if that's what they feel, an
uh-huh.
invincibility. If I can put myself to the limits of how
Yeah.
much pain physically I can withstand,
Mm.
I'm touching invincibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, do you feel like you go into a flow state when you are in that space of emotional pain and riding the edge? Like, does your state of
What do you mean,
consciousness
like a
change
float
at all?
state?
Kind of like an altered
Does
state?
my state of consciousness what?
Like, does
Oh,
it
an altered
change?
state.
Yeah.
Is it an altered state of consciousness? I've never explored that. So I'm not saying that it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just don't know that I've ever paid attention enough in that respect to be able to answer that question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's untrue because in some respects I do feel like it's a specific kind of high,
Mm-hmm.
anguish, turmoil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because what highs are expanded experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's taking our regular waking uh sensitivities and ratcheting it up a notch, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so in these expanded pain experiences, those things are happening. It does feel like a high. That's why people get used to the highs and lows of relationships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, they get used to those highs and those lows, those big, big, when it's really, really great and it's really, really low, and they get addicted to that, you know. So
Yeah.
I do think that there probably is an element of it, like it being some kind of altered state of consciousness, because it is kind of like a high, but because it's a low, like you know what I mean. I think it is in some ways an altered state of it's an altered way to experience reality. I'll say that. That's what highs
Mm-hmm.
are. Highs are
Mm-hmm.
altered ways to experience reality,
Yeah.
no matter what it is that you're taking. You are altering your experience of reality.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you're completely escaping it at all,
Yeah.
but you're altering, uh, your experience of reality. And so I do feel like in that respect, it's an altered state of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because if when you're in extreme pain,
Mm-hmm.
you see things differently, you feel things differently.
Mm-hmm.
The way you eat changes. Like there's so much changes. It's an altered way to experience reality. It is.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things that come to mind. Like one is, I think like we're wired to emit certain hormones when we are in extreme states of pain. And that can get us high, or that can kind of, something else can come online to just like help us tolerate the pain. And that is a bit of a drug like that our body produces. But also I think like that state of invincibility can feel like an altered state of like, oh shit, like I'm able to ride this wave instead of being like pulled under and like crash into rocks. It's like if you're able to stay on top, like, whoa, like that feels invincible. That feels just like extraordinary, like a high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is a new awareness, or say it's a new awareness. It's the first time I'm giving language to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the first time I'm giving language to it, and it's resonant because, like I said, I'm in a space of deep pain now with this challenging space that me and my lover are in, and so it's bringing a lot of stuff forward for me around and I hadn't really been in a space of deep anguish in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Life has felt pretty even, you know?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gosh, I have to go in just like 7 minutes or so, but I'm just like kind of awestruck as usual, like by your depth of insight and what you're revealing and exposing to me. Like it feels very powerful. Um, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I could talk about it so much more, but like, is there anything else that you feel like comes to mind in terms of that erotic jealousy space that we haven't really dug into?
I think it could be a powerful tool of alchemy because
Uh-huh.
there is so much fear of jealousy. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that same thing with kink,
Yeah.
rather than experiencing it in the 3D world or in the outside world, where
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're not in control, it's taking control of the emotion and
Mm-hmm.
choosing when and how you experience it so that you can alchemize, its impact on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people would do that in the fantasy realm, just kind of on their own. And some people will do that in the real, 3D realm in a kink scene with people who are like, okay, I'm going to play this role. This is all going to be established and consensual.
Right. So I think, it could be like a tool of like, rather than experience fear and try to avoid this emotion at all costs, like
Hmm.
people try to avoid pain at all costs.
Yeah. Hmm.
And not only, and we always talk about kink from the space of the person receiving the pain,
Hmm.
but the top, they're having to engage their desire to inflict pain.
Yeah.
And so that's a space of, kind of like, I have this desire in me to inflict, because I talk to Doms a lot. Because when people are Doms and say this, I love talking to them. So I'm like, because I have no base point for that. I
Uh-huh.
never want to cause anybody pain. So I always
Uh,
find it so fascinating that they will take it.
yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And a lot of times what they're dealing with is shame about the
Oh,
fact that they enjoy inflicting pain on people.
right. Right.
And so they choose these kink environments so that they can go into a conscious space of being able to be present with their enjoyment of inflicting pain.
So it's
And
like,
so I feel like it's a powerful space of alchemy to go, I'm going to choose to engage this
hmm.
part of me that enjoys this experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to alchemize my experience of jealousy by adding an element of eroticism to it and making a conscious choice to
Right.
engage in it, either by choosing to think about something or actually choosing to set up a scene where you're being a cuck, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. Would you ever want to try it in real life?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm too volatile.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm too volatile. I'd end up cussing somebody out, wanting to beat somebody up and something like, don't do that to yourself.
Then you would want to inflict pain.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I only want to do it where it feels safest, and it feels safest for me in my mind. And
Right.
I've like told my partners that before, like once. I remember telling Marquise that one time. And then
Uh-huh.
I told, my current person that like I do fantasize about them with other people and it kind of gets me off. But
Hmm.
in that realm, I didn't connect jealousy to it. But with my other partners, I used to. In
Hmm.
that realm, it's just about seeing it with somebody else. Like I said, I thought they was hot.
Yeah.
But in my other partners, it was actually jealousy. Like I was connecting to that. That was what I was connecting to.
Mm.
So in the real world, absolutely not, absolutely not. I have no desire. Like if someone introduced me to the concept once, I don't know. I think it was a this coaching program. You have fantasy and do.
Oh, see or do. Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
Fantasy and do. And so in the fantasy realm, it's exciting and hot, and I can, whatever. In the do realm, absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not,
Love that
absolutely
clarity
not.
and that awareness. Oh
I've
my God.
never felt like let's set up a cup situation. And now that you say it, I'm like, how would I respond if I did something like that? I think I would have to do it with somebody who I didn't have a depth of feeling for.
Mm, hmm.
So maybe like a new connection, a play
Mm-hmm.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have to have an element of like a power exchange to where
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was somebody that I was kind of in domination to. And so I'm wanting to have this experience. And so I'm submitting to you to give this experience to me. So it would have to be in like a kink capacity. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had somebody that I was like a dominant and they were going to part of our power exchange dynamic was that they were going to set up this situation. And in my service to them, I had to show up to the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like
like
the
something about that sounds appealing to me.
okay.
But just me telling my partner and being like, yo, I kind of want to do this thing. Would you be willing to do it? I don't think I could do that with somebody that I had a real depth of feeling for. That's not something I think I would want when I sit with that in my body is like, girl. But like also, I do feel like there's something there for me to explore. I'm like, there's something here for me to explore. There's something here for me to explore.
Exciting. Oh man, let's have a conversation in 2 months. See how that evolved. Because I feel like there's a lot just
Yeah,
moving in you and evolving. So that's super cool.
yeah. This was a
Gosh.
great freaking combo, man.
Yeah. I have to run. I feel, yeah, again, I'm like, oh, I want to talk more, but I have to run to my next call. But thank you so fucking much for your time and just like your expertise, your heart, your willingness to explore this topic with me. Like, I'm so grateful. And I see you as such a teacher of emotions. Like, you're such a master and such a fierce explorer. And I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I deeply appreciate you too. Can you send me this recording? Because I was like, yo, Vita, there's some stuff here. You got to pull that out. You got to
Yeah,
talk about that.
I will.
There's some stuff here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So send me the recording when you get it, because I want to sit back with the conversation and take notes. And like I
Yeah.
said, yeah. And I'll probably be making I'll probably do a video or like a reel where I just talk about we had this conversation. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing came out for me. We're talking about this. And maybe like, kind of plug your work, she's doing some work on the eroticism of jealousy. So, watch
Mhm.
out for that. Stay tuned. But
Cool.
yeah, because yeah, this was very revelatory.
Yeah. Well,
So
to be
yeah,
continued.
to
I'll
be
be in touch. Oh,
continued, to be continued. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Thank you so much,
All right,
Evita.
bye. Have a
Have
good
a
day.
beautiful day. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye bye.